Hi there, my name is Evie, and I will read you a chapter, the last chapter of this book, The Gift of Allowance. I've been really enjoying reading this book and let it like percolate through my psyche, the way that I think and act, and like my, like how I respond, how I don't respond to anything, anyone. And it talks about like a lot about like the polarity in this world where there's always like this judge, either in our heads or with other people, or like everything in this reality, that there's something must be good or something must be bad. There's always like a right way and there's always like a wrong way. And this book like really explains and in a way teaches and facilitates you to like fully to go beyond that. And like I remember when I was like my first way where my first explorations in spirituality and doing things different was like with I found in like the Buddhism and the way that they were like describing to be the observer of your thoughts and your feelings, your emotions, like be like a rock in the stream and just let it slide from you. And I could never really access that until I found the modality Access Consciousness, and it has been really like everything that they provide. And this is a book published from Access Consciousness and from one of the founders and creators of that modality. And it really empowers people to have that ability to stay in your own power and to not let the outside world and even like your evil inner world or like the battle in your head be let it affect you, but to instead of like be really present with everything, and from there create like a life that's like really matters to you. And I'm so grateful for it. And it's an honor to read this chapter. It's a small chapter and it's called Include Everyone in Your Reality, but don't buy their points of view. So basically it's saying like include everybody in your world, but don't buy their world. How close will you let people get to you before you feel the need to either leave or push them away? We all have an invisible balloon encircling us to the entrance to our comfort zone. When someone pushes the edges of the comfort zone, our initial reaction is to reject them, to repel them, get away from them. It's as if someone with a huge body odor problem gets too close and we want to hold on our noses and run. The border is not made of steel, but our points of views and judgments, and is constantly fluctuating. If I'm not doing well, the comfort zone expands. If I'm happy and energetic, it contracts. Now, here I could feel some of you like, I don't get this sentence. This is the awesome part about this book, what I just said before. Like you don't even, like this book is really like a book that you read in small spurts and then you let it enter your psyche without like necessarily needing to understand it. I think that's the power of this book and the power of the modality Access Consciousness and everything that it offers is it goes beyond your usual modus operandi, and it allows a space, it creates a space so you can have like enough presence to make like different choices. And this is what this book is all about. Like, I love it. So if you want to really get this more, I would totally recommend to buy this book. Another way of describing this might be the barrier inside where we feel comfortable and safe. So not everyone gets to enter it. This doesn't prove anything, really, but it does indicate that there is a distance between two people where they can sense one another's energy. In some people, it's across the room. In others, it might be inches. Let's call it a comfortable distance. If someone gets inside your bubble, it will be uncomfortable to a variable degree. And when you become uncomfortable, you back away or push them away without thinking. A comfortable distance is how close you let somebody get to you before you have to find a way to reject them, which is the purpose of the wall. This is not to bailiwick of allowance because it's based in judgments. Now, what they mean with bailiwick, it's like a really beautiful, fancy word for the way it operates, the way it works. So this is not the way it works for allowance. That's the opposite of judgment. What if it was just an interesting point of view that you needed to reject somebody or someone? One class participant had the point of view that she won't let anyone get close to her or she will be hurt. What's the basic point of view she's functioning from? That she can be heard. How is that interesting point of view? As an adult, no one can hurt you unless you let them. Now, this is a really cool sentence. No one can hurt you unless you let them. Nobody makes you sad. Nobody makes you unhappy. Nobody makes you anything except you. Having someone drop a brick on your head or assault you is a different subject, but begs the same question. If you are an allowance, your awareness will let you know when to get away or where not to go. You are the one person in the world who can create everything you desire or don't desire as your reality. Including people in your reality means that you're not trying to exclude them in order to create a reality. You're willing to see their point of view, but that doesn't mean you have to buy it. So many people try to buy other people's points of view, thinking that if they could understand those points of view, they finally understand how they are relevant. Their need to discover their relevance is just another interesting point of view. What choices would you have if you knew their points of view were simply one way of looking at things? Your reality is your reality. Their reality is their reality. I try not to adjust my reality to fit into anyone else's reality or make them happy. How often do you try to make people happy at the expense of your own reality? Now, this is a reality check. How often do you try to make other people happy at the expense of your own happiness? Trying to make people happy often means you have to buy into their points of view. For example, when one of the investors in our castle was interacting with the man who was installing the toilets and sinks, she tried to understand his point of view. He had the point of view that we were wrong, period. He had clearly decided to do things his own way. I asked her why she was bothering to understand his point of view, because obviously he was not doing what we had asked. It seems that she was trying to see what his point of view was, if it had some relevance to our situation. My thinking was that his point of view had no relevance because he had not done what we had asked. Because I'm willing to have no point of view, I could see what his point of view was. His point of view was, this is what you should do. This is what I want you to do, and this is the way you've got to do it. Now, where was our point of view in there? Was it even in there? No, he didn't care what we had asked of him. When somebody doesn't care what your point of view is, they are not on your side, and they're certainly not trying to help you. They're only trying to get their point of view out in the world and make it the right point of view. When you find yourself in a situation where someone is hitting you with a huge energy or anger to change your point of view, It can be very uncomfortable. You can, though, take a hint from martial arts or other forms of physical combat. For example, a boxer would tell you never to lean into a punch. Why? You would simply be adding energy to the energy already being thrown about. A martial arts person would tell you to step to the side and let the other person's momentum carry them by. I think this is probably also like what the Buddhism is saying about be the rock in the stream. Just let it slide by instead of like catching the waves. We can, in the river, catching like the huge current in the river, we can like drop out of the river, sit aside and watch the storm pass by, or the waves or the current, and then go back when everything is nice. And I can't think of the word, but when it's like nice and like interesting point of view allows you to move aside and let the attacker move on by, avoiding the pressure on you to buy a point of view. I don't have a point of view that has to be right. I'm always willing to change, and I'm usually more interested in big changes than I am in little changes. But it can be the little changes you choose when you're totally willing to be aware of something that creates a greater picture and a greater possibility. When you buy into someone else's point of view, you're keeping one thing in place. Their point of view. What if instead you had always total choice? I'm willing to listen to everybody's contribution without a point of view about it. Many people take the point of view that other people's point of view automatically have validity and make them a contribution. Whew, that's also a biggie. How often do you make someone else's point of view a validity and therefore it's a contribution? I don't have that point of view. I don't believe that people having a point of view makes them a contribution. Everybody has a point of view, but it is not necessarily something that will contribute to you. I think that changes like my whole life. Learn from others without buying their judgments and points of view. Wow. I think that's like a chapter to let sink in for X amount of time. Sorry, I'm a bit sick. I have been really sick in the last little week or so. Yes, so the Gift of Allowance. If you want to have a copy of this, you can always purchase it in my website. You can go to ivymobile.com. I have an affiliate link. If you go to ivymobile.com, you will find 3 ways to access, and you choose the link Introduction to Access Consciousness, and there you will find resources and you can click on there. Have a wonderful day.